What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Shadow Moose Gamer, and today I'm back with another episode of account coaching series featuring NDS's account, ex NDS. I don't know how to say his name, but NDS's account. And what happened was he actually reached out to me after watching one of my other account coaching series, and he said, "Hey, I was wondering if you can actually be so kind to take a look at my account and feature it for your account coaching series." And I said yes, 100%. And I'll say yes to almost everyone unless you're basically trolling me. So if you want your own version of account coaching series, feel free to go ahead and join the Discord from the link down below and reach out to me through a personal message on Discord, because that way I can basically take a look at your account and then get all the screenshots that I need for me to actually make one of those videos. It will be super quick process and it'll be worth it perhaps for your account's direction, because I played this game for the past 1100 days or so, and obviously so there will be some people who has more insight about this game, but again I think I have a decent amount of knowledge that I can provide a little bit of suggestion on what you should be doing for most of the accounts. So with that said, let's just jump right into it. NDS's account. So he actually reached out to me and he told me his current setup is actually Zhuge Herman, Bai Chi Liu Che, Arthur Phillip, Ragnar Prime, Scipio Prime, Huo Chubing, and Jonabart Prime. So everyone's expertise except for Herman Prime. And honestly, at this point, that might actually not be a terrible idea, given that archers are probably right around the corner, and we don't know if we are gonna be able to use Herman Prime for the next upcoming archer release series. So yeah, might not be a terrible idea for you to actually keep Herman at 5552, but everyone else expertise is awesome. He's currently working on his fourth horn, and in the next half a week, he might already have it crafted by now, because I actually received this request actually about more than a half a week ago. So my apologies, NDS, for posting this somewhat late. And he's thinking about making the fifth right away, but he wasn't 100% sure. And as I always do for any of your equipments, I'll go ahead and take a look at your account, and then I'll provide whether or not it might be a good idea for you to actually craft the fifth horn as a second priority for right after crafting your first fourth horn. After that, he wanted to actually start finishing his infantry set, and he doesn't know if he should go for a KVK weapon or helmet, or just stay with the four-piece set with the infantry, because he's a field fighter march, and march speed is actually very important. And then the four-piece bonus for infantry set piece also gives you a lot of march speed. So I think it might not be a terrible idea for you as well. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what you have, and I'll provide my best suggestion based on what you have. He hasn't started awakening them at all, because he's been told that having the fifth, like 5 gear set, is better, and that is particularly true for people who are focusing more on the field. So yeah, whoever was giving you that suggestion probably is right. He changed his first wedge to pincer, first infantry set to pincer in terms of armaments, I'm assuming, and his first cavalry wedge set to delta recently. And he doesn't know it was the right choice because Paul Arthur is really strong on the field. And I feel you. I've had the same dilemma, and I think in Artifact KVK I'm doing decent, but then again, whenever I'm like dueling or fighting some people, I do miss having Poe Arthur. But then again, I think I can provide my best suggestion based on what you currently have, because there is a certain threshold at which like having Delta or Pincer does make more sense for a lot of people. So I'll go ahead and make sure I take a good look at your current armaments and then provide my best suggestions based on that. And since you recently maxed by Chi, he's low on gold has. He's currently at 168, which is good. So far, you're saving as much as he can for the meta commanders that are coming, which is awesome, especially for our archers. His VIP is 16, is almost 17, only 200,000 away, which is awesome. I hope he does hit that 17 because that 5% all damage buff is going to help you out a lot. And that's really when you can actually start considering ever being a rally or garrison lead, to be honest, because missing that 5% and not having that 5% all damage bonus and not having that on rallying garrison lead perspective is a huge difference. So congratulations for almost hitting VIP 17. Make sure you go ahead and hit that as soon as possible because it will be worth it. And maybe after that, he was actually thinking about doing Rally and Garrison. For Rally, he has Attila 5555, and then Hercules at 5555, and Eleanor at 5511, which at already this point, you might be able to already garrison for like Arc of Osiris League for your kingdom, perhaps, but looks pretty good. Or like Rally, you need a Subutai, so like yeah, maybe not Rally, but then again, yeah, for garrison, by all means, you might be able to already do it for like those like small Arc of Osiris League stuff. But I would love to get your views on short term and long term. Gotcha. And on paper, basically, if I lay it out in like more organized format, I don't know if this is an organized format, but then again, this is how I do all my videos. So currently, this is a field focus account. That's basically the first bullet point right here. He's crafted fourth, and he was wondering if crafting the fifth is the right move, and that is one of the primary concerns that he has. And then for his second infantry set, he was wondering if he should build the KVK set or the infantry set pieces for march speed versus stats, which is totally understandable. I'll go ahead and provide my best suggestions based on this. Now, for future rally and garrison suggestions, I'll actually just keep this in mind when I'm providing my suggestions on equipments and armaments, because I think that basically kind of dictates which direction that you should go with like your, for example, the KVK weapon and helmet choices that you're about to make, as well as like the infantry set pieces stuff. He currently made Wedge and into pincer and delta for cavalry and infantry set. And was this the right choice? I'll go ahead and let you know based on what you have. And current lineup I already went over. He has 168 gold test. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he has. Now, looking at Zhuge Liang, a very good set, very powerful. Full Dragon Breath set is always a good idea in my opinion. He does have Ring and Horn, which is awesome. The only thing that he's missing at this point is basically the talents and iconics. But based on what I've seen from the rest of his kit already, I think he's more of a cavalry guy rather than like archer guy. So looks really good. He is missing a little bit on stats on the armaments, but then again, I think that's because he's trying to get that all damage in place of the health. Iron Wall is good. Respite, I think, gives you all damage, and then Focus Fire also gives you that skill damage bonus. Overall, pretty good for someone who's not maining Archer at the end of the day. And what I can actually notice here is that he's actually 7 out of 10 for his wish list, which is awesome. And you're very close to hitting your pity for legendary inscription. I'll keep that in mind for my future suggestions when it comes to armaments. Now, looking at Bai Chi, which is I think the infantry number 1 set, he has basically the same thing. 4-piece infantry set with helmet, weapon, gloves, and boots, and also wearing Hope Cloak and Eternal Light with Ring of Horn and Ring of Doom, and then Horn of Fury. Right, very standard infantry set that everyone uses. I think this is a pretty decent set, to be fair. And he does have Pincer, but then again, he doesn't have any legendary inscription. Instead, he does have Imploder and Rattling, which is good. He does have Vitality, which will give him that extra health that infantry desperately needs. I do see the trend of him like focusing a little bit too much on that all damage. So maybe if he can get those stats re-rolled into infantry health or higher damage, that would actually make this just perfect. Don't touch it unless you have legendary inscriptions to inscribe at the end of the day, right? Delta formation. Okay, so this is his cavalry set. I believe this is his main cavalry, like the one march that he's actually using for the powerhousing. And you can see that he has the KVK helmet and KVK weapon, which is good. He does have talented chest piece for the cavalry set piece, and then the cavalry set piece boost, which is all really good. And then he does have Navarre's control and Ash of the Dawn, all talented up, which is really good. And Ring of Doom and Horn of Fury, neither of them are talented, but then again, those are very hard to crit at the end of the day. Overall, very good set. He does have Steel Skin, which is actually the banner, which is something that you can get from recycling, I think, 900 legendary inscriptions. This is the one that you can get from the pity. And then Thrasher, which is actually from the KVK shop for the first slot, which is pretty darn good. Now, I don't think he has the instrument. I think he's using the fit inscription for his instrument. And then Relentless is the one that gives you combo damage. So overall, very, very strong Delta formation. He does have basically everything that he doesn't, everything that is not, how to say this. Yeah, so he has every single legendary inscriptions that he can get from Pity or KVK shop, which is good. He just needs to actually hit the Pity for the rest of them. And for butterfly, for delta formation, I think having butterfly effect is a little bit better than having the last slot legendary inscription, especially since you already have relentless in there. But overall, very strong stats, very strong armament inscriptions. Yeah, I think he's thinking about rallying with cavalry, as far as what you can tell from this set right here. He does have another wedge formation, which is for his secondary cavalry set, which has very good all damage. Has a little bit of archer march speed. I'm assuming that he got that from like defense slot in one of them. But overall, rest of the armaments look really good. Focus fire to give you that 4% skill damage, and robust to give you that skill that the all health, cavalry health. And then rest of them are also pretty good too, as far as what I remember. And he does have 4-piece cavalry piece, 4-piece cavalry set pieces for legendary, which is the helmet, chest, weapon, and boots. He does have Ash of the Dawn and Navarre's control for pants and gloves, which is basically the best set that you can have without KVK pieces. And he does have march speed on him, with a flag, so pretty decent. I would say his wedge formation is pretty darn strong. And this is his infantry number 2 set, I'm assuming, which is running still on wedge. Overall, pretty strong set, especially considering the fact that this is the secondary infantry set that he has. He does have Hope Cloak and 2-piece of infantry set pieces from pants and boots. And he's probably wondering whether or not he should be going for the KBK weapon and helmet here, or the infantry set pieces, so they can get that march speed bonus for his 4-piece set infantry set bonus that he has. Now he is running the Karukak's pants, which is good, which is actually like without iconic, which is actually better in my opinion than having the leadership pants. So pretty darn good. Everything else looks very clean. Overall, I think one way to kind of summarize whatever I'm seeing on NDS's account is very clean. He looks like the guy who's very organized, very smart on how he invests in most of his stuff. And overall, this is basically how it looks like, just in a like a snapshot view. And my suggestion is, after you craft your 4th horn, I do suggest that crafting the 5th horn for your infantry number 2 is the best, just because of how strong horn is over any pieces of equipment that is available for you in the game. So crafting the second horn is probably the right move, especially when you have a very usable infantry set right now. And like some people might think that there's those are all the infantry like blue sets and whatnot, but yeah, those are actually really good places that you can have the infantry health on. So those are pretty strong sets, I must say. So yeah, I would say focus on your fifth horn before you actually go ahead and start working on other stuff. And then for the secondary accessory for cavalry number 2 and infantry number 2, I would actually suggest that you craft your drums. So your entire five march murder ball is a lot stronger as a whole rather than just having another 2 pieces of rings. And so there's 2 choices that you have for infantry number 2, right? Set pieces for infantry number 2, which is actually if you only want to field. But then again, I actually recommend that you go with this option rather than anything else because of the fact that you're thinking about garrisoning in the future, right? So actually I'm going to go ahead and exit this one and I'm going to cross this out if there is an option. Is there an option? I'm going to cross this out. Yeah, I'm going to cross this out. And then resume the slideshow. So my recommendation is if you're thinking about rallying and garrisoning for your set right now, because you're working on probably the best cavalry set right now, wasting KVK coins, coin tokens, whatever you like to call it, wasting KVK tokens on KVK weapon and helmet for your infantry number 2 is second priority for the most part, in my opinion. And also at the same time, it doesn't give you that march speed bonus that the infantry desperately needs for your infantry number 2. So that's why I'm actually suggesting that you should move forward with the set pieces for helmet and weapon. So yeah, so if you have helmet and weapon for infantry number 2, then you can actually use and devote your KVK tokens for your cavalry number 1 set, which is going to be used for rallies and garrison eventually. Again, either choices is fine still, but if you plan on building your 3rd infantry for your 6th march, you can actually think about the following here. So you can actually think about building infantry number 2 Eternal Light as the last piece, but alternatively, if you plan on building your 6th march as infantry, it may not be a terrible idea for you to actually craft leadership pants and boots, because leadership pants and boots are technically better pieces than Eternal Night and Shio's or infantry set piece bonus. Set piece for the boots. So if you're thinking about crafting, making your 6th set for your infantry number 3, then I think it might not be a terrible idea for you to build leadership pants and boots and then eventually swapping out infantry number 2 or infantry number 1 with those sets are basically what I would recommend. Because at the end of the day, you don't have anything talented right now, so you can always kind of swap in and out for infantry number 2 or infantry number 1 for those leadership pants for the maximizing of the troop health that you can actually have. Yeah, well, I mumbled a little bit about here and there, but the long story short is that you should craft infantry set pieces if you're thinking about potentially rallying garrison with your cavalry set. Sorry, my cat is kind of making weird noises, so I need to check on him. But anyways, let's just go ahead and move on. So this is basically what I'll suggest. So the Horn of Fury for your second cavalry set as number one priority, and then working on your second horn to craft for your infantry number two. Then you can craft the drums, and then you can craft the infantry set pieces for your infantry number two. And then last but not least, you can either choose the Eternal Knight, or if you're thinking about building the third infantry set, you can also think about building the leadership pants for that piece as well. It's really up to you. And for armaments, and then eventually you can actually devote all of your KVK tokens that you get from the KVK into your cavalry number one, which is gonna have the best iconics and stuff and talents with those KVK coins and tokens. Now for armaments, for the decision to move with Pincer and Delta and Wedge, I think the decision was made a little bit earlier for your account, but not by a long shot. This is because you need special inscription for Pincer for it to do well on the field and in rallies and garrison. Like in any cases, you need special inscriptions, especially Toppler and Demolisher, which is the first two on the top side of the armaments. The one on the scroll side, which is acquirable through the autarch testimony, and then Demolisher is actually the one for the instrument, which is actually not acquirable through any means outside of hitting the pity or getting really lucky. From now on, though, I do suggest that you actually get the pity change on the wedge to instrument, because right now I see that you currently have it on emblem for wedge, but because you already made the delta and pincer, and it seems like you're about committed to building the best sets for those two, I would recommend that you actually change that to butterfly, and then change that to the instrument, and then if you actually hit the what's this called the pity for that slot, you'll be able to actually get the butterfly effect or demolisher for your pincer or delta formation. My personal suggestion, though, is to go with butterfly effect and get done with your cavalry set first, because you want to eventually rally in garrison, right? And if you want to eventually rally in garrison, having butterfly effect into your delta formation is gonna help you out a ton. Actually, in fact, I wouldn't actually rally your garrison as a delta user if you don't have butterfly effect on your set. Then you can try to give Toppler from the autarch testimony to your infantry, and then whatever you get next, I would recommend that you actually give it to your infantry number one set if you can get your hands on Demolisher. In terms of your current lineup, your lineup is perfect as it is. You can see that I said perfect as is. And I will not invest in any more sculptures on Herman Prime. That's probably why you have him currently at 5552. As the future of Archer Commanders meta is still not 100% set. And I'll also wait for your next Archer release and then decide on whether or not you should actually invest in the next Archer Commander. Because, believe it or not, we don't know how good or how bad the next Archer Commander is going to be in the next update, Commander release, right? So you may actually be better off by, unlikely, but expertising the Herman Prime, or wait for another infantry, another like leadership commander or cavalry commander that is coming out in the next cycle after archers. So yeah, wait for archer, and then if it's busted, then go ahead and invest in that commander, and then invest in the best pairing for that commander as well. If it's actually really bad, then go ahead and wait until you see another leadership or cavalry commander that can work with all of those commanders. Now that's pretty much it for what we have for today. I hope this was helpful, and yes, and I do apologize for that weird noise. I don't know if the mic caught it, but my cat was making weird noises. So I had to check on it. So I was kind of mumbling around a little bit in the middle, but I hope that was not too distracting. If you have any more questions, NDS, feel free to reach out to me through Discord chat that we have going on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful for you, NDS. And for those of you who are watching who is not NDS, I hope this was helpful for your own account as well. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you. Peace.